Thank you for all the contributors of my website. First, we have a heartwarming story about love and family written by Deluxe Writing. And the title of that story is Jeremiah. Jeremiah is a 70-year-old man who woke up in the morning and gave his doggy a breakfast before he prepared a big surprise birthday party for his wife. Seems ordinary stuff to you, doesn't it? But it do caught me by surprise because in the first half it seems as if the 70-year-old man was going to die or something. Because he seems all alone in the first paragraph, and it mentioned that the poor dog looked to his master in confusion because he didn't pick up his leash that day. And that stuff about arranging chairs, which was tiresome for that old man to do, and Anne, his wife, wasn't able to find Jeremiah when she arrived. Oh man, that's pretty subtle, and I like it. Then we have a horror story written by Hansen, and the story is called The Hotel Horror. It talks about one of the performers, a man who decided not to stay in an RV like the rest of his teammates, but stay at a hotel since he has money anyway. He went to Google to find one, and he reached his destination through use of Google Map and booked one of the rooms and got settled. But there, when he was hungry, he couldn't find any restaurants in the vicinity, and what's worse, he couldn't find any room service. He was angry, but decided, oh, that's no big deal. All I want is a big sleep there. And there might be a big breakfast waiting for me in the morning when I woke up. Then, when he went to sleep, he woke up and suddenly found the main door opened, and that's strange. I thought I closed that door before. He closed it, but then the main door opened again, so he decided to speak to the manager. But when he went down, he found the entire hallway was dark and empty. He was scared and decided to ran back to the room, locked the door shut, and pushed the sofa in front of it. In the morning, when he woke up, he found that the sofa still was pushed aside and the main door was still open, but he didn't care less. So he decided to leave the hotel the minute and never come back. This story gives us a lesson that we shouldn't trust Google Maps because he lost his way and found the wrong hotel for sure. There's no way you're gonna pay so much money and get this sort of hospitality to you. And the second lesson, I think, was that never ditch your teammates like that. I have a hunch that this story has an aftermath. I believe he might be possessed or something. That's just a thought. Next, we have Black Panther's story about a video game that's called Devil's Lance. It's about a girl who plays video games for hours every day and raised by a single mother who works as a nurse. One day, Jamil, a boy from Pakistan, tells her of a new game, and Ninja, who's a famous YouTuber, couldn't beat the final boss. So she decided to hold a YouTube live stream and play for 10 hours till she reached the final level. That's 35 levels in total. And if she loses to the final boss, she will have to take 5 levels back. Anyway, she fought the boss for 2 hours and won. And she received $500,000 of prize money. Later on, Ninja gave her extra $500,000. That's $1 million in total. And what's more, her YouTube channel got famous. And when her mother came back, the main protagonist, told her that they would never suffer again. Now, to take note, that's a total of 12 hours of gaming, and it's pretty surprising that the mother didn't ask her why she was not in bed. I forgot to mention that the mother works night shift. This story gave us a message that gaming can connect with people from all over the world. Jamil was from Pakistan, notifying the main character, and I believe that he was sure what our main girl was capable of, and that thing about YouTube livestream. Then we have a story written by The Devil May Write, and it's called Skydancer. Well, it's the longest epic story I've received so far in my website. The storyline might sound familiar to those who have watched the movie on How to Train Your Dragon. Well, but the main character is a female, and she's called Ophelia. The Sky Dancer in the story rides dragons. And she's a natural, for she able to speak telepathically with dragons, a skill a person can only acquire after many years just by boarding one dragon. Anyway, uh, it tells a bit about her daily life, about delivering goods and interacting with customers. But in the end, she encountered a boy who was so desperate to get help from a skydancer. The boy brought Ophelia to a cave, and in the cave rests a huge dragon who was very sick. When Ophelia saw the tears in the boy's eyes, she decided to help him. Yeah, that's the end. Yeah, the end, because the writer has mentioned that it was part 1 after all. All I can say is that this was a very detailed world building. The air traffic exists in this world just as it exists in our world of airplanes. You can even hear Ophelia's dragon breathing and puffing small billow of smoke and flames in the air. It just feels like riding a real dragon. The character Ophelia seems like Mary Sue to me, but the end, I feel a bit surprised that a girl like her, who has many relationships with dragons, was taken aback by the huge sick dragon. But then it was quite normal because the environment was a bit dark and the dragon might be the largest dragon she has ever seen in her life. Then we have Queen Claudia again, and a story about aliens once again. Our main character was carrying a guitar and walked towards the garden to practice his music. And he encountered a flying diamond on his way. He wanted to run, but then he wanted to discover something new. So he continued to walk towards that flying object. Then he found that the alien spacecraft crashed and the aliens were trying to fix the ship. When the aliens saw the main character, they smiled at him and continued their work. Our main character, who have no idea of their technology, decide to help anyway by playing rock and roll music. Later, when the aliens has fixed their ship, the aliens bid a happy farewell to the main character, an experience that the main character would never forget. That's a very simple story, which was very suitable for kids. But I think that the main character has forgotten his cell phone, because a normal person might have to take a photo of aliens or even post a selfie with them, which was a very natural thing to do, wouldn't you say? Last but not least, we have Alfred and his story from Australia. Okay, it's about a guy who sent to Mars because he was stolen $200 from a cash register. And the author makes a connection between Mars and Australia, for Australia as a place initially for convicts, which was news to me. And that guy in Mars was working as a cleaner or something. To me, it was pretty ingenious for using Australia as a reference, because the main character hoped that one day he might succeed in Mars just as the people who succeed in Australia. But still, committing a petty crime to earn a place in Mars gives me an impression that space travel had become extremely affordable in that story. That's all for today. Hope you all enjoy it. Feel free to share your story on my website and get free reviews.